Hi guys, Sarah with Three Raptor Consulting, and today we are launching our new series, Developing Your Professional Self. Last month we did a series over how to create a growth plan for yourself, and that can be used in your personal life, your professional life, your business, a lot of different areas. This month I want to focus on developing your professional self and giving you the skills and tools you really need to go farther. So there's all this talk in the media about what is needed and what is not needed. And I'm going to tell you some of the best things that you can have right now, point blank, hands down, is number one, a growth mindset. Best way to develop a growth mindset is to just simply say, hey, I don't know everything, and what I do know, some of my beliefs might be influenced by different sources or a lack of knowledge, so I'm going to be open to learning and understand that that could affect some of my beliefs. And then you're going to strive to read different articles and to learn something every day, right? That's your growth mindset. The next one is being adaptable. And it's really interesting what this means. In the professional world, being adaptable means that you go with the flow, so to speak. That's the easiest way to sum it up. But what it basically means is that you have gained enough emotional intelligence and enough networking skills and small talk that you can go into any office setting, understand the culture and dynamics of it, and figure out a way to be successful and thrive. It also means that you're very adaptable with how you do your work. So I think that that's really profound now because, 3 years ago I thought I have to go to the office, I have to have this, I have to have this to be a consultant. And now it's like, you know what? No, you don't. You can work from home. People understand if a dog barks in the middle of a video. So it's being adaptable on how you get your work done. Learning how to make Zoom meetings or Skype or however you do your online meetings warm, and learning how to create online connections, understanding how to send emails so that they're very appropriate, and bringing people together and creating a culture even though we might all be working remotely, right? And then also pivoting is another huge skill. And what this means is that we understand that the world is changing at lightning speed, and it was doing this before the pandemic, but now we're really seeing this change. So as things change, you pivot within your career to keep up with your change. So let's say at first you were a graphic designer and you were very accustomed to drawing everything out by hand first. And just so you know, I'm not a graphic designer, so I'm making this up as I go along with an example that makes sense. So we're going to say you got very used to drawing everything out by hand first, and you showed your clients actual drawn sketches. Well, that's not going to work as well, because no matter how great your video camera is, trying to hold up a sketch to a video camera is going to look unprofessional and not work. So you're going to be able to pivot in your style by learning to use online drawing tools, learning how to do different edits, and learning how to share your work differently with your client. It means you understand the changes that are coming and you keep up with it and thrive. So the three absolute most important things for you to focus on is developing and maintaining a growth mindset, becoming very adaptable, and being able to pivot within your business, your career, however it goes. So those are my three number one hits, right? But today I want to talk to about something a little bit differently. Today I want to talk about active listening. So in teaching communication, I have learned a lot about communication. So let's just do a little short lesson on how communication works. So communication is a lot less what we say and so much more our body language and our tone of voice. If you tuned on this video and I was like, you're not going to want to watch it. But I've got to try to have a little bit of energy. I try to have a little bit of pizzazz. It engages you, right? So here's what's going on. In front of our eyes and our ears, we have this series of lenses, and all of our lenses are comprised of our culture, our past experiences, our unmet needs, trauma. We could have anywhere from 5 to 100 lenses in front of us, right? Depending on where we are that day. So what happens is you're watching me right now, and this message is literally getting filtered through these lenses and hits your brain. So you're getting a very filtered message in your brain that your brain then tries to interpret and respond to. And this is why I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter what is said, it matters what the other person hears. Because we're working off of filtered interpretations to interpret, and it's a really bad idea. So when you encounter a problem, be it with a significant other, someone that you're a business partner with, or a client, one of the best things you can do is practice active listening. Now you really have to practice this, because if you're not good at it, it can sound like you're being very condescending, or you're just kind of being a real jerk in the moment. The goal with active listening is to show 100% attention and to be very empathetic and to learn exactly what has upset this person. So by doing that, the first thing you do is you try to clear as many lenses as you can. So I always tell people, if you can pause to have a conversation, a difficult conversation, until you've met some of your needs, go for it. So like for me, if I can get a little bit of movement, use the restroom, drink some water, clear my head, then I'm good for this, right? So try really hard to get yourself in a good space and remove some of those lenses. Then from there, you want to focus on what the person is saying and try very hard to focus on facts and kind of kick out the emotion. Because if we focus on the emotion, we might react emotionally. And with active listening, we want to understand what the core of the problem is. So you want to let them speak, and every once in a while, you want to stop and ask clarifying questions. And this is when you need to be really careful in your tone of voice and how you ask them. And a lot of times what I'll say, hey, I really want to understand what's going on here. So I'm going to ask a few clarifying questions to make sure that we're both on the same page, and I appreciate your patience with me. And go through that a couple times until you make sure you have the whole thing. Then at the end, I'll say, okay, here is what I heard to be the problem. Do I have this right? Did I miss anything? And you'll know what words to use as you go through this conversation with this person, right? And once you have the whole thing, that's when you can give them a solution. Now, a lot of times for me, the solution is, okay, I'm going to need some time to do some research, and I'm going to need to look into this. I will have an answer to you by, and I give them a specific time and date. I always add a few hours just so I know I will definitely make that deadline and maybe even be early getting back to them. And I let them know how I'm going to contact them back. I'm going to email you or I'm going to call you. So that is basic active listening. Actually, that is active listening. And it sounds really basic and probably a little bit childish, and by no means is it meant to be childish. What it's meant to do is put you in this frame of mind where you absolutely don't focus on the emotion so you don't react. You focus on the words and what the problem is so that you can find a solution. And there are times when it's a significant other or a peer where your clarifying question is, do you want me just to listen? Are you venting, or do you want me to help you find a solution? And sometimes it takes a minute to get people trained to be okay with that question, but that's going to give you a lot of clarity, because if all they want is for you to listen, then you say, and you listen, because there's going to be moments you can interject with empathy and examples of things that have happened in your life. So you definitely listen and you add to the conversation, but you don't come up with any solutions. And a lot of times when you say, I am so sorry, that really sucks, I've been there. If you ever want to discuss what worked for me or what didn't work for me, I'd be happy to share that with you, but I'm here to listen anytime. So that's going to really help you with client management, with managing a staff, with working with each other and creating that very positive environment. Because if people know that you're a safe space, you're not going to gossip, and you're going to just allow them to vent, you're going to get some really good information. You're going to understand the dynamics, what problems you need to work on behind the scenes, and you're also going to develop a culture of trust. So that's the first skill that we're going to talk about today, and I hope that this helps you. We're going to do 4 more parts in this installment, and I hope you guys enjoy them.